Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Risekujikawa from Persona 4. I absolutely love Rise's character design and her spunky and fun attitude. Her pigtails are so cute, and I love the idea that a large-scale idol is not too big to visit a small town like Inaba, or fight off shadows for that matter. The Persona series has some pretty amazing casts of characters, but Persona 4 is my favorite Persona game, and I find Rise to be my favorite navigator too. Her voice cheering on the cast as they fight, and her spunk as she identifies weaknesses is adorable, and learning that she was a huge romantic was also pretty cute. The easy thought for a dish could be using tofu since she works at her grandmother's tofu shop, but I felt she would want something a little more energetic and fun like her. She seems like she would absolutely love classic sweets. Who doesn't love chocolate chip cookie dough? I think this could be one of Rise's vices as an idol. In addition to cookies, I love the yellow color motif of Persona 4, and thought a banana flavor would fit perfectly. Therefore, for Rise, we are making some banana chocolate chip cookie dough cupcakes. Here's what we'll need for these fun cupcakes. For the edible cookie dough, we'll need all-purpose flour, unsalted butter at room temperature, light brown sugar, granulated sugar, vanilla extract, whole milk, salt, and mini chocolate chips. For the cupcakes themselves, we'll need lemon juice, which I forgot to place here, whole milk, 2 eggs with yolks and whites separated, unsalted butter at room temperature, granulated sugar, all-purpose or cake flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, and 3 ripe bananas. Lastly, for the cookie dough buttercream, you'll use the edible cookie dough as well as unsalted butter at room temperature, powdered sugar, heavy cream at room temperature, and vanilla extract. That's right, there's a lot of butter in this recipe, 4 sticks to be exact. Since they all need to be at room temperature, make sure to pull them out of your fridge with ample time before you start. So the first step is to make our edible cookie dough. We can make cookie dough edible by not using eggs and heat treating our flour. First, we'll preheat our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and line a cookie sheet with parchment paper. On the cookie sheet, we'll spread out 1 cup of all-purpose flour. The flour will then go into the oven to bake for 10 minutes, and then we'll remove and let cool. The flour should just have a slightly darker appearance than when you put it in the oven. We'll keep the oven on 375 degrees Fahrenheit for when we cook the cupcakes. Now, in a stand mixer with a paddle attachment, we'll cream a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter with a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar and a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. You'll mix for about 2 minutes until the mix becomes light and fluffy. We'll then add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of whole milk. Mix again until everything is combined. Then, into your stand mixer bowl, you'll sift in your heated flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Keep mixing until fluffy and no large clumps of flour remain. We'll then add in a 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips and fold with a spatula until the chocolate is well dispersed. Place the bowl of cookie dough into the fridge to chill for at least 15 minutes before using. We'll then transition over to making the banana cupcakes. In your stand mixer with a whisk attachment, or with an electric mixer, beat 2 egg whites on high until the whites form stiff peaks, then stop and save for later. In a separate large bowl, cream together another 1/2 cup of butter at room temperature with 1 cup of granulated sugar until it becomes smooth. Next, we're going to add in lemon juice and milk. Measure out 3/4 teaspoon of lemon juice and pour it into a 1/4 cup measuring cup. With your lemon juice in the cup, add in whole milk until the mixture reaches that full 1/4 cup together. Pour the milk and lemon juice into the butter bowl as well as your 2 egg yolks you separated earlier. Mix until incorporated. Now, in a separate medium bowl, we'll whisk together 2 cups of all-purpose or cake flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Slowly add these dry ingredients into your butter bowl, mixing slightly between additions until the mix is just combined and smooth. If you haven't already, mash 3 ripe bananas in a bowl. Then to your bowl of batter, fold in the mashed bananas and your whipped egg whites from earlier. Mix until just combined, trying not to overmix. We're getting close to baking. You're on a roll, senpai. Line a muffin tin with muffin liners and then pour your batter into the liners, filling them up about 2/3 of the way. This recipe makes about 18 cupcakes, so you may need to bake in a separate batch. We'll then put our cupcakes in the oven to bake for 17 to 20 minutes, or until the cupcakes spring back lightly when touched in the center. Once your cupcakes are done, allow them to cool completely before decorating. While the cupcakes are baking in the oven, we'll take our bowl of cookie dough out from the fridge. Line a plate with parchment paper and roll out 18 small balls of cookie dough. You shouldn't use all of your cookie dough, only about half of it. Place the balls on the parchment paper and then place this plate into the fridge to chill until decorating. While the cupcakes are still baking or are cooling, you can start making your buttercream. With the whisk of your stand mixer or with an electric mixer, beat 1 cup of unsalted butter, or 2 sticks, until the butter is very smooth and creamy. You'll then add in 4.5 cups of powdered sugar, a 1/4 cup of room temperature heavy cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and all of your remaining edible cookie dough. Continue beating the buttercream until everything is well incorporated and it is nice and smooth. With that, we're ready to begin decorating, as long as the cupcakes are fully cooled. Scoop your buttercream into a piping bag and top your cupcakes with buttercream. Just a warning that you'll have to use a pretty large tip in the piping bag, or none at all, because the mini chocolate chips can get stuck in the nozzle. After piping, top each swirl of buttercream with one of the cookie dough balls. We're then ready to serve. Look at these cuties. Aren't they adorable? They're pretty delicious too. I always love banana flavor, especially in baked goods, and with the salty and rich taste of butter and chocolate chip cookie on top, it's elevated even more. This is a pretty delectable cupcake, and the sponge is so light and fluffy too. I had a blast making this, and I think anyone else who gave it a try would too. It's well known that a lot of the girls on the Persona 4 squad are awful cooks, so I'm not sure who would bake these. Maybe it would be a Junis special. Regardless, the investigation team would definitely devour a large batch after fighting formidable shadows. Rise might even be willing to do some commercials for Junis when these go on sale, but that's a big maybe. She's in Inaba for a break, so she wouldn't want to work herself too hard. She'd look at all of her friends enjoying these cupcakes, and she'd look at her own plate and think, I'm tired of diets. Enough with going to the gym. Good thing there's something that even I can handle. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Rise reminds you of. Thanks for following along.